we have no plan B. We only have, these are the vehicles that we have, and we have 8 counselors, and we're taking 56 from our church. And so as you can quickly see, even if we take our own personal cars, we're quickly going to run out of vehicles. Because I can fit 4 in my car. And so we're quickly going to run out of vehicles. So we have no plan B. And this has just been a blessing. What an onslaught for youth camp. Onslaught, that's a great word, but it's man, we have 56 people going to youth camp. That's blowing me away. That is blowing me away. So please, if you have any other vehicle or in time or both, please hook up with me tonight, because that is a A1 priority, so students can go. Because we have no other plan except you. All right, let me share with you. The Minnesota, and this is let's come up here tonight. We're going up here with visitation files. Come on, guys. Everyone that went on the Minnesota missions trip, grab a chair and let's come to the visitation files. Aren't these guys servants? They even got me a chair. Look at this. This is one. I'm going to sit down because a lot of this night has to do with them sharing and not just me sharing about what happened. I would like to say a few quick things before I hand the mic off. I would like to say a few quick thank yous. We are nearing. This is the final week for these wonderful trips with our youth group that encompass weeks and beyond. And so this has cost, it's been a lot of money, and our script program has been just going well, and that's been underwriting a lot of the expenses. I know a lot of parents, Pastor and I talked about the other day, we've got parents that have spent right at about $1,000 this summer for their student to be involved in a number of different things that our church is doing, because they believe in their children, and they believe in allowing God to use them for the trips that we put together. So hats off to our parents that have been forking out cash, and hats off to our church that's been supporting it. But I'd like to say a few thank yous. Perry and Jerry Wilson, once again, came through in a mighty way for us. They went to Grand Rapids, and they were like the cavalry. We, Friday afternoon, and we were leaving Minnesota, traveling all the way over to the end of Wisconsin at Lake Michigan. And we did that by about 11 p.m. we arrived in Wisconsin. We then boarded the Lake Michigan car ferry, which was just a neat experience to save time, and also so I didn't have to drive through the entire night. We boarded the car ferry at around 12:30, and we were on that ferry for about 4 hours. I've never been on anything other than a little boat on a lake. That's about the biggest thing I've been on. And so we had the rocking thing going on there, and it wasn't quite like a cruise, I don't think. But we had a good time. So we were up the whole time. We were up the entire. Well, we slept for a few minutes, and like 20. And so we came off there, and then we left from there, and we drove about an hour and a half to Grand Rapids. And after a night of being awake, Perry and Jerry were just a great blessing. I got in the car with Jerry because she had the reclining seats in her van. And I said, God, just forgive me if I can just have the joy of just kicking out. So I said about 2 sentences to her. I kicked back, and I woke up one time from Grand Rapids to here. And so I'm definitely thankful to them. I'm thankful, and as a group, we've got a little letter, and Miss Evelyn is not here this evening. But I told her this morning we had that for we'll take it to her. We made a little card and a little letter for Miss Evelyn Turtle. Evelyn Turtle, she let us use her cabin, which is a super blessing up by Mackinac Island. And so we're thankful to her for letting us use the cabin. It was one of the first trips that we came in significantly under budget because we had help with lodging. And so that helped with the over budget trips. And so I'm thankful to her for helping us out in that area. We are going to share what we did in Duluth. First, we are going to have different students share what their site did during the week. We were broken up into different teams. There was a team of about 50 junior high students from, I believe, 4 different states. And they would divide up. We had 2 of our students in a group. And we were out with other churches all day long. And we'd come back in the evening, and share what God did during the day. But we had some at ministry sites, some at work sites, and so they're going to each share about the site that they were at, and then they're going to each, then from that point on, we'll go back and then take testimonies from each of them after they share about the work sites and the ministry sites that they were at. And first is Miss Joanna.
Okay, Stephanie Swick and I went to Lake Haven Nursing Home, and it was really cool because we went there and you were kind of like just the helper for all the nurses and everything. Whatever they said to do, you did it. So you would take them to lunch and you would bring them back. Because they don't know how to go to the bathroom by themselves. So you would put them next to the bathroom if they had to go. And you would just sit there and talk to them. We had like a craft, or we sang, or a game every day, which we went down to, and they went and played. So we had to bring them all down there for about 20 minutes and bring them all back up to their rooms. It's really tiring, but we did it. And I think they really enjoyed it because they don't get to do a lot, and they really like just being there and just spending time with them.
Me, TJ, and a whole bunch of other people went to Chum, and that's like a food shelter, and they like sorted food out like for the homeless that don't have food, and people just like set it there, we sort it, and then people that don't have food just come and take it whenever they want. And it was pretty hard because me and Ben got on top of these like huge craft, like huge shells, like, I don't know. And we had to like move boxes off of them because it was like too much there.
Okay, me and Ben, we did Vacation Bible School, where it's called Kids Club, and they were like all little. I don't know. There was one 12-year-old, but she wasn't, whatever. And okay, and I think me and Ben went together on that, and with other people, and I think we had it the roughest. These kids, you don't even know. If you think your child bad, you come here. We'll tell you all about it. We had to do a skit and a craft each day, and we did a craft with finger painting. And it was all over the bathroom. The janitor was like laughing at us, and we're like, "Why are you laughing? You gotta clean it up." And then I was laughing because I'd see like all our whole group. You had to see it fly out of the room catching them. It was the funniest thing.
Like Ted said, these kids are like, I came home and I thought Byron and Blake were like the best kids in the world. And the first kids that we ever met were these two little girls. They walked in and they were like, "Hi," not a word. "What's your name?" They just ignored us. It was like we weren't even there. We're like, "Do you live around here?" We couldn't get nothing out of them. It was like we weren't even there. So they went to this little foosball table, and we go over to them. We're like, "Hey, hi, how are you? What's your name?" "Autumn." And then they just went back to the other game. We were kind of intimidated by the first two, but the finger paint day, it was all over the bathroom, all over the walls. It wasn't good, and the kids were ranging from ages from 3 to 12, and we go over to a Salvation Army, and they had 3 rooms upstairs that were just left for Boy Scouts, and we did the Boy Scouts. I think were in the winter and we were in the summer, and we'd go up there and we had to do a skit and sing songs and stuff, and a Bible lesson, and then a craft. And so we prepare for that on Monday, and we go for 2 days and prepare for that, and then on Wednesday we prepared for Wednesday and Thursday. So we had a lot of work going into it, and half the times I didn't even make it for the skit because I was chasing some kids somewhere.
Me and Josh and Don, the second day we were there, had to clean out this garage next to the church. And I wake up that morning, I'm thinking, okay, we gotta carry a couple boxes and throw some stuff away. We get to this garage, and it's like this big garage, and it's just filled with like all this garbage and like pop cans and all this junk. It's got this big loft filled with junk, basically. It's just like, we don't know what to do. We don't even know where to start. So me and Josh started with the pop cans, and we were just like taking these things, and there was like, how many, there was over 4,000 of these pop cans. And one of the leaders, Jenny, was telling us to count them all out. We're like, we're not going to count out this many pop cans. And she told us to line them all up and stuff. So we just forgot then. We started putting them in the bag. So then we took them to this place and just all this sticky stuff from like the pop and all that, just like the leftover stuff. We had to stick our hands in there and just pull all the pop cans out. It was just nasty. And it smelled so bad. And it was just a pretty different experience.
These are the infomercials. This is kind of, what we're going to do is we're going to take the testimony time, but we wanted you to know just a little bit about how we were divided up. You would usually be divided up, and some did ministry side all week long, like the Vacation Bible School. They did a ministry side all week long. This was the last week for the junior high missions organization. It's called Youth Works, and they come in there and they, actually the week that we were there, they were doing a big write-up in their local newspaper. It's a church. You know, it's just like Kirby Church, okay, right here. And then Youth Works sends 4 staff members in. And then we would open up our church to them all summer long. And then they do ministry to the city right here, all around us. Every week they have about 50 to 70 young people come in. And so that's what this church was. And so that's the way it was all set up. And they would plug us into ministries that were existing. And so it was a great ministry. And it was a great opportunity for our students. When we left here, this was the first group this summer I wasn't sure how it was going to go because they were all kind of in their own little benches, and the parents were really sad, and the kids were really sad, and I'm just whispering names, this might be not their trip. I don't know what's going to happen here, because when we were all just kind of all just doing our own little thing, and so I just thank the Lord because God just worked even in our hearts to bond us together. One thing I think is so neat, and then you can hear more from them, is just before I actually got hands-on youth ministry, I thought everything you had to do was just fun. I thought we have to have fun. We need fun. No, we need to plan for fun. And the coolest thing is we try to plan. I really do try to plan for fun. And like this time, we went to the Mall of America and ate at Planet Hollywood, did the Lake Ferry, and all those things. And it's so neat to know that their memories and the significance for them, I'm learning a lesson. It doesn't come in just the fun, because when I hear their stories, like on the trip, on the long trip all the way back, and I listen to their stories and what they're laughing about and having fun talking about, it's not about the little activity I tried to plan at the end for one day, their fun day. They're talking about being at the Vacation Bible School together and how they broke through to this one, difficult child. And they're talking about leaving, who they were able to touch in the nursing home. And when we're pulling our group out of the nursing home, they're crying. They're leaving these people they've known for 2 days at the nursing home, and they're crying and they're hugging them and telling them goodbye. And so I'm so encouraged to know that we have fun doing things of God. We don't just have to have something that's just fun, and we have a great time doing the ministry together as a group. Now you're going to hear from all of them one more time, and they're just going to share something funny that happened on the trip, so you can kind of have a little bit of the joy that Amy and I had all week long, and something funny, and then something that really stood out to them with the spiritual, something that spiritually stood out to them in their mind. And then we're going to start with teachers.
Okay, for one of our night activities, we went to the park, and this was just like an awesome place because there was like this big lake, and like there was a big museum there. They had shops everywhere. So me and Ben and one of the leaders, Katie, were walking around. We were just trying to find a cheap souvenir shop. So we went into this store, Monkey Business, and we just went in there. Me and Ben were just being crazy, and like we were just cracking these jokes and stuff. And we got these shirts that were like $5.45 or something. And the lady gives them to us for like $5 because she said that we're so funny. So she gives us a discount. So all 3 of us got them. We were walking down the sidewalk doing the monkey walk. And these people on the sidewalk thought we were crazy for just doing this. And we were just like, it was just weird. Yeah, we were advertising for the store, and they were getting all kinds of business and everything. It was so funny. And then the last night we had the leaders come and join us for one of our devotions, and we had a foot washing service, and we all prayed for each other, and we washed each other's feet and stuff. It was just really cool. And that's it.
I got so many stories, it's unbelievable. But I'll tell one of my favorites. There's this little boy, his name is Eric, and before Big Kids Club, we'd always bring them a little lunch, and a crew would go to the Salvation Army about an hour before and make them. And they usually have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, an orange, and a bag of chips. That's usually what it was made up of. And this kid, he was in the room all by himself, because he usually stalled to eat, but he went in there, and I went downstairs to take a kid to the bathroom or something, and I come upstairs, and this kid was throwing his orange peels all over the place, squished his oranges and was throwing them at people, ripped his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches into little pieces and started throwing them at Ted and Allison, this other girl. I mean, he was like food fighting. It was just him. And I mean, he was just like having a ball. He's just throwing the food everywhere. And they're like, Ben, this kid's throwing food everywhere. I'm like, he is? And so I was standing there, and I'm like, don't you throw any more food. And he threw one right at me. And so I went and I grabbed him. I went, "Ooh." And I turned him upside down on my chair, and his head was down there, and I was holding him like this, and I was squeezing him. I'm like, you will stop throwing this food right now. And he's like, okay. And he just turned beet red. And so finally I let him get back up. And I'm like, so are you going to throw food? He picks up a piece of food and throws it. I'm like, so I grab him by the face. I'm like, psh. I grab him. I'm like, you will not throw food. I stare him right in the eyes. He's freaking out now. And I'm like, you are not going to throw food. And I'm like, right? He says, yes, I am. Or something. I mean, I get him up on my shoulders. I mean, I was like, I felt like a parent. That's what I felt like. And so I grab him. And then, so, I mean, this kid's like almost in tears. He's just like, oh, and I put him up on my shoulder. I start jumping him down. I mean, he was going through a time. So I grab him again. I'm like, so are you going to throw food anymore? I'm like, you will stop throwing food. And he's like, okay. So he picked every piece of food up. It was so funny. So he picked all the food up, and for the rest of the week he was really cool and stuff. So he was really nice to me and everybody else. And so that was that one kid, and I got much more, but I'm only allowed to tell one. And all week, there was this, all the kids, they were pretty good, and there was this one girl named Tiffany, and her, she was 11 years old. She was the oldest one there. And the first time I ever talked to her, she goes, how old are you? I go, I'm 13. I'm 12. What's the difference? I'm just 2 years younger than you. Why do I gotta obey you? And she runs away. And she was a bigger girl, and she would always run. She'd always run around, and she'd tell the little kids like Eric and Dallas and all these other little kids that were pretty good. She'd tell them, go out that door and run downstairs. Flick them off, cuss at them. They don't, she just tell them all these things, like, she'd go, call them stupid, and I mean, just all these different things. She'd tell them, and we tried to keep them in the room, and we put chairs in front of this door, and she moved the chairs and told all the kids to go downstairs into the gym. I mean, she was so bad. I mean, this girl, she was like the instigator of all the bad stuff. And so, all week long, I think we all tried to really be nice to her and really tried to. The first day we were kind of mean. We were like, "Why do you do this? Why are you like that?" But after that, we kind of just really tried to be nice to her and stuff. And by the third day, there's this one girl named Gretchen, and she was really like kind of messing with her. And Gretchen was really nice to her, and everybody else started being really nice to her the third day. And then the last day, the girl, you couldn't even tell that she was like that. We just gave her some responsibility because she was one of the older ones. We told her like to keep the kids in the room and not let them run out the door and just watch the door. And she was really good. And I mean, you couldn't even tell. And by the last day, she just was like, she was kind of messing with you like the other kids and stuff. It was the last week, so whenever the kids were in the bus, I was kind of sad telling them goodbye because they were going to go back to their homes and the apartment, and back to their parents. You don't know what they did. And they were all on the bus and we're all waving goodbye, and they don't even know it's the last week. They're just happy. They're just messing around. And I was talking to the kids, and she patted me on the cheek. She's like, "Bye, Ben. See you later." And I was like, that kind of hit me because I was kind of mean to her the first day, and everybody was, but I thought that was really cool how from the first day she changed and just the progress she made. And so you saw that in a lot of kids, and it was really cool. And so that's one of the things I love.
Okay, the funny, you guys don't even see, it was like boot camp. This is boot camp. And, okay, my funny is, there were so many, you don't even know. In the van, Don, okay, I always used to say, take it easy. And then Don started saying it, and I could not stop laughing. Don did it. It was the funniest way how Don did it. And like, I don't know, it was fun. And, I don't know, me and Josh are in Burger King, alright? And like, we was going to Slurpee, I got one for Amy, and then, Amy's, of course. Alright, I get it over here and I get everything. And then Josh went to go get these sunglasses, or actually I got them and he wanted them. And then we got them, and then there was like girls behind us, and I turned around to say what's up, and the milkshake fell. And I was like, oh, all these people are laughing at me, like people I was talking to people in line. I was about to kill them. They're like making fun of me and everything. And then Amy I don't think Amy knows. She ain't here, so I don't think she knows that her milkshake spilled. Whatever. Okay, my spiritual was, it was a foot wash, and another one was, for a kids club, there was a kid, he's always like hanging on me, and he told me that I was because he went through the whole summer, and he goes, I never really had a leader like you that stuck up to me, and that just touched my heart.
Probably my funny was me, Ben, and TJ gave lullabies to everybody, and then it was so fun. You had to be there. And then me and Ben, Ben mostly wrote a song to wake up everybody. This one day, me, Ben, and TJ all sang it, and we were so loud and woke up everybody the first time. And my spiritual is probably this old lady at a nursing home. She has like a messed up eye, no one. And she, even little things like pushing her to a room and pushing her back too much, like really touched her.
I can't think of a funny right now because they took them all, but I didn't get to go to monkey business, and I'm upset because we were talking in this little cafe with this homeless man named Angel, and he was wonderful. I don't know what touched him, but he was like Mr. Almighty or something, I don't know. But he was giving us all these, he was just talking, it wasn't even about anything, it was just like, spoke right to you. And I couldn't leave, so I didn't go to the store. But my spiritual was, since we were in Lake Haven nursing home, there was this lady where every day we would have one-on-ones, and you would go into their rooms, and it was usually people that didn't come down for activities or something. And you had a list of people that you would go visit for a couple of minutes every day, and you just go talk to them, and most of them didn't talk back. So you just sit there, and there was this one lady down at the end of the hall, and her name was Edna, and she told me she had a stroke, so she couldn't talk or anything, so I would just sit there. And I didn't know what was wrong with her at first, so I just thought she was kind of retarded, and I feel bad for thinking that, but I did. And I kind of wanted to have her neighbor, her name was Pat, and she was like the sweetest old lady I have ever met, because she would talk to you. At the end, she was crying because we were leaving and everything, but my spiritual thingy is, okay, we were talking, me and Edna, and I was just talking to her, and she wouldn't talk back or anything, but I was talking, and then the last day, I walked out on Thursday, I had talked to her for 4 days, I had set my watch for 25 minutes every day, and I would just look forward to getting out of that room because it was so boring. So every day I would go in there and talk to her, And then on Thursday, I was walking out, and she talked back for the first time. And I just like thought, wow, she listened. And it was amazing because God taught me patience to talk to people and to think about things that really, I didn't think I was talking about anything important, but she really thought it was really important. And it just, I don't know, it just kind of touched me.
The Salvation Army, the kids club that these guys did, it went on for the whole summer, the whole 8 weeks. And every week they were doing it, and that was the last week. Those kids had to go back to those homes, but every day they would make sure that they got the Bible lesson, and shared that. There's one night we went and ate at the Union Gospel Mission, and the kids, I've just got to, the reason I let them talk to you and let you hear from them is they're the ones that did it. They're the ones that made it happen. We went to the Union Gospel Mission, and you got your food and ate with the homeless people, and they would go out in teams and just sit next to a homeless person and start to talk to them. And it was really incredible. In the nursing home one day, I know that there was a group of girls that were with us in our nursing home that we were at, and for the first time they thought about someone else's eternal destiny. I mean, for the first time they were talking to this guy, and he said he was really proud of our group because we were doing good things, and that he knew that we were probably going to heaven, but he didn't have any chance of heaven. This girl during lunch, because you would debrief over lunch, you would debrief after, you would debrief in the evening, just talk about all the experiences that happened. And this girl, for the first time, she was, seriously thinking about what, someone else, and not just someone else, but their eternal destiny. And she was burdened for someone else. And so those kind of things were happening in the nursing home. The foot washing service was just once again, it was a highlight of the week just because they've been serving all week long. And then that last night they connected why we served, they connected serving one another, they connected that with following the example of serving that Christ left for us, and so on. So I was proud, super proud of our entire group. As they share, it's so difficult, I know it's just so difficult for you to grasp what happens. But let me just give you a little piece, maybe, of what happens. We've got good kids here. Let me tell you that the staff there came to Amy and I and said out of all the groups that came all summer long, they thought that our group had the most spiritual maturity out of any junior high group that was there. And we didn't request that, they came and told us that about the kids that we have. So we have good kids. When we left here, in the life of a junior high student, we're talking 7th and 8th grade students, most everything is revolving around still trying to find where they fit, how it's going to happen and experiencing all that. And a lot of it's focused on self. And one of the most incredible things that happened during this week that's laying a foundation for ministry within our youth group is that they turned and all week long looked at someone else and looked at the needs of someone else and given their time, their energy towards someone else. And so I want you to know that is just a phenomenal thing. They represented Christ well, they represented our church well, and I was extremely proud of them for the entire week. I'm going to share 3 things that I've done. The night that the staff met with us for foot washing was absolutely incredible. To hear the prayers, let me just share the prayers, not the deep prayers, but to hear these students get a hold of the heart of God. And I'll put these two together. This is what God is teaching me. You go, I plan the trip and I go to be the leader, and I'm the student at the hands of God, and I hope to be all my life just like God. I'll be willing to be changed by God. But God taught me that He's working in the hearts of our students. And that's why I want you to hear from them, and I want them to speak. And a lot of it's the first time they've ever spoken in church. you know, in front of everyone, but I want you to hear from them because God is doing a work in their hearts, and that's one of the most incredible things that God taught me this week. During the foot washing services, to watch how God was using, to hear their prayers. Oh, if I could tape record their prayers and give those to you, you all would become volunteer youth staff. I mean, they're just to hear what God's doing inside of them, to hear what they notice in the staff that they work with all week long, and thank God for it in the characteristics in others, to hear how they thanked God for the blessings that they had. It was a wonderful time, and I just wanted to share that with you, that's going on, and it's a wonderful thing. Why junior high ministry? And we'll be done. Why junior high ministry? We were the smallest church there because just one mission trip in the summer is really cool. You know, and 2 mission trips in the summer gets to be more and more, and then 2 mission trips plus everything during it gets to be a lot. But why junior high ministry? With all that we've experienced in youth ministry, with all that I've experienced so far, we've had wonderful, wonderful weeks in ministry, and we've experienced a number of things, I think, at the hand of God and that God has done within us. But a lot of that's happened within junior and senior high students, or junior high school and senior high school students. And then we get to watch it blossom for just a short period of time, and then they're gone. And I don't get to see that to full maturity, and I don't have to see it when it happens, and it's happened, and God's used them. And that's one of the lessons that God's teaching me. But in order for us to move this thing and make it happen, and to allow our group to mature, to allow the spiritual maturity of our group to grow and develop, we wanted to move these experiences back in the life of in the youth group life of our students. And so that's why it just fills my heart that in 7th and 8th grade we have students that are thinking about the eternal destiny of someone else. That we've got students that are connected to something other than, so much of life is still, Game Boy and having fun, and all that's okay. But taking this significant time out where they're looking at someone else, and they even look at their own lives and find out what God can use them for. I believe that at the end of this week, we do a thing called Yay God Every Night, where they share how God spoke to them. And to hear them talk about how God used them, and how at the beginning of the week they weren't sure of what they were going to do and how it was going to end up, and to find the significance that they experienced and felt as God used them during the week, that is priceless in ministry, for them to realize that God has that plan for them and that God wants to use them in that way. So I'm proud of them. And then one thing that we're going to take from this is that I've already been talking with a number of the adult leaders in our church. Is we want to provide these experiences. We don't want this to be some kind of activity that happened back in July and hoopla, it was fun. We want to take this.
The other junior high kids.
You're sleeping! Your sheep are sleeping! But you need to wake up now! How? Pick up your head, get out of bed, it's not that hard. Because your bed you need to shed, so you'll get fed. And the food that you eat will be oh so sweet, so get out of bed. You're sleeping! Your sheep are sleeping! And you're thinking about the food. You're thinking how nice it would be to pick up your head, get out of bed, it's not that hard. Because your bed you need to shed, so you'll get fed. And the food that you eat will be oh so sweet, so get out of bed.
Now, the next fundraiser is a wake-up call fundraiser. All right? If you need a wake-up call at 6:30, they dial up and